Welcome back, everyone. This is David Paulides, and you are listening to the official Missing 411 podcast. I have spent decades compiling evidence of disappearances that simply defy logic. These are cases where people vanish into thin air, often with unnerving similarities, forming clusters that the authorities cannot explain. Tonight, we are drilling down into one of the most unsettling common denominators in these files, the terrifying, unbidden power of the psychic dream. I am talking about that fine, razor-sharp line between human intuition and the outright paranormal, a line that gets completely shredded when the location of a missing person is delivered not by a police search grid, but by a vision in the dead of night. This conversation stirs up a hornet's nest, I know. Is the information we receive demonic? Is it divine? Or is it something far more chilling? The captured soul of the victim screaming for release. We will look at the facts tonight. And you can decide what cold reality you want to face. Our first case takes us to a quiet community in Michigan, a place called Ludington, right on the edge of the vast high strangeness belt of Lake Michigan. This specific region, the air, the land, and the water, has an unnaturally high statistical rate of unexplained disappearances. It has swallowed planes, boats, and people, and is an anomalous zone in its own right, perhaps even a gateway. The disappearance is that of 5-year-old Ace Davis, who vanished on June 13th, 2007. Ace was playing on the massive, shifting sand dunes near the water, and late in the day, his parents realized he was gone. The search that followed was immediate and intense, involving patrols, boats, and neighborhood sweeps. But there were zero leads, no witnesses, no sign of a struggle, just a little boy completely swallowed by the beach. The search lasted for days, with the rational, understandable thought being that he must have gone into the water. But the answer came from an entirely different dimension, a reality outside of our grasp. On June 15th, just 2 days after Ace vanished, a woman named Mrs. Addison Brewster, a Ludington resident, was actually traveling in a town far away. At 2 a.m., she suddenly woke up screaming. She told her husband she had just seen a small boy with sand actively sliding down, burying him completely. She had no idea a boy was missing until her husband told her the news, but she dismissed it as a nightmare. Then, on June 22nd, a family acquaintance named Mrs. William Hall came to stay with the Brewsters in Ludington. The police search for Ace was completely cold by this point, and in the middle of that very night, Mrs. Hall had a dream. She saw a boy's body buried under the sand at the beach in a specific, detailed location. Think about this for a moment. 2 women, separate experiences, 1 mile away, but both receiving the same specific, terrifying image in the exact same house. They had never discussed the case. They did not know the victim. This was pure, unadulterated, unsolicited information, a transmission from the void. The husbands, of course, were deeply hesitant, afraid of looking insane to the authorities. But at 9:30 that night, the group went to the beach. The women walked a significant distance, then pointed to a very precise, unremarkable spot in the sand. Within minutes of digging, the shovel struck something solid. It was the head of little Ace Davis. The police were completely overwhelmed, and they questioned the women intensely, who insisted they were neither suspects nor professional psychics, but merely messengers of a terrifying vision. This brings us to the core, Missing 411 question. If this information is a gift, why is it almost exclusively used for closure, for finding the remains? Why are these dreams almost never about finding a living person lost on a hiking trail or in the deep woods? It is almost as if the force communicating, be it a soul, a dimensional echo, or a cryptic energy source, is only capable of reaching out after the final tragic event has occurred. It is a cruel cosmic delay that gives you a glimpse of the truth too late. Now, Let us pivot from the shifting sands of Michigan to the unrelenting dark timber of Alaska, a state where missing persons cases are rampant, yet many of the most unusual ones are simply swallowed by the landscape. This is the case of Howard Cadon. 50 years old, a big man, and a skilled hunter. He vanished on September 4th, 1949, about 20 miles southeast of Livengood, Alaska, while hunting with 3 friends. This region is heavy timber, the kind of terrain where visibility is zero, and you have to worry about what is watching you before you can ever see it. Howard split from his friends that day, and he never returned to camp. The initial search was remarkable for 1949. A military mountain rescue team, a helicopter, and a canine. On September 9th, searchers made a critical find. Tracks near a creek, and right there on the ground, they found 2 of Howard's unsmoked cigars. This is the anomaly. A hunter separated from his group, likely stopping for a drink at a creek. Why would he take 2 cigars out of his pack, place them neatly on the ground, and then just vanish? A person fleeing a charging grizzly bear does not calmly put down his smokes. A person getting lost keeps moving. This evidence suggests an instantaneous, non-violent, unexplained separation from his gear, almost as if he was plucked from that spot. Could this be the result of a dimensional rift? A sudden, localized tear in the fabric of space that simply pulls a person out of their reality? 1 minute, Howard is setting down his cigars. The next, he is gone, without a sound, leaving only his unlit tobacco behind. His sons searched for an astonishing 18 days, but the most tragic part of the Cadon case, the part that shows how easily people are wiped from history, came 11 years later. In 1961, Mrs. Cadon wrote to Alaska newspapers, begging to know if anything had been found. The newspapers contacted local law enforcement, only to be told that no official report of the search or the disappearance could be located. The state had lost the file. Howard Cadon was erased, first from the woods and then from the official record. His rifle, his pack, his belongings, all gone, swallowed by the vast interior. We started with a question about psychic information. Is it good or evil? But when you look at the missing 411 data, the true horror may be that the source of the event is something entirely indifferent to our human morality. Whether it is the screaming soul of Ace Davis communicating through dreams, or the sudden, silent disappearance of Howard Cadon into a dimensional anomaly, the pattern remains. The wilderness holds secrets, and some of those secrets are actively reaching out, or actively consuming. I'm David Paulides. Thanks for being here. Stay safe out there, and remember, be kind. We will see you next time.